You're listening to an iHeart podcast.
Did you know Dansko's been supporting women pursuing meaningful work since 1990? Yep, Dansko the Clog Company, but it's more than just footwear. Dansko is a symbol of comfort, quality, and purpose. Women wear Dansko shoes as a badge of their values and a nod to the work they do every day. Work that makes a difference in their communities, one bold step at a time. Dansko's Heritage Collection and newest designs are made for life on the move. Dansko's slip on and go, easy to adjust styles save you time, while their commitment to high quality materials ensures long lasting comfort and durability. Whether you're on your feet all day, tackling big goals, or simply embracing every day, Dansko is there to support you every step of the way. Because at Dansko, every decision is made with you in mind, from the shoes they design to the impact they make. Step into comfort and purpose today. Visit Dansko, dansko.com/radio to learn more or try a pair. That's dansko.com/radio.
Member Week is here at Lowe's. Don't miss your chance to get up to 40% off hundreds of items like paint, outdoor and home essentials, and more. Shop our exclusive deals happening in-store and online now through May 14th. Not a rewards member? Join for free today and get ready to save more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
When it comes to your health and well-being, the right care can change everything. That's why Cleveland Clinic has been elevating world-class patient care for over a century. From the latest in heart, neurology, and cancer care to advanced diagnostics and beyond, Cleveland Clinic is here for every care in the world. Explore a wide variety of health and wellness info by visiting clevelandclinic.org today.
We're leaving today and entering a world of Cinderella Castle sightseeing, Tron light cycling, Jungle Cruise punning, pirate swashbuckling, Everest climbing, dapper danning, soaring, fireworks show of I'm not crying, you're crying. World of favorites for whatever you love. Infinite worlds await at the most magical place on earth, Walt Disney World Resort.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Zoe, and you're listening to Climbing in Heels for your weekly dose of glamour, inspiration, and, of course, fun. Today is a monumental day in Climbing in Heels history. We have our first male guest on the show, which I normally don't allow, but he happens to be the king of heels and my best friend for over 20 years, the king, the prince, Brian Atwood. He is truly one of the most talented footwear designers in the fashion industry, and he's sharing his story with us from FIT and modeling to working with the icon and legend Gianni Versace himself. Brian's positivity is truly infectious, and I cannot wait for you to hear more of his incredible journey. So Brian is my favorite Leo. I also want to say that Brian is the first male to ever appear on Climbing in Heels.
Okay.
True.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you are the first, not the last. But the first one we have let into this studio on this podcast.
Okay.
And I thought about it.
Big ally.
Well,
obviously.
also because I thought it would be great to talk about the man who has designed heels for women that I have climbed in for the last 20 years. And, you know, because obviously when I say climbing in heels, it's very tongue in cheek, but all the women that I've had on here, I really like to talk about the journeys of how we get to be who we are, right? Because that's a question I've been asked throughout my career is, how did you become Rachel Zoe? And my answer is always like, no idea. There was not a plan. There was definitely not a plan. I just worked really fucking hard. And here we are. So I want to talk a little bit about your story because it is a really good one. And you came up in a time where it's like the height of fashion, literally the height of fashion. Yeah. So you did go to college. I want to start there. You grew up where? Let's share with everybody.
Grew up in southwest suburb of Chicago, Joliet, Illinois.
Okay.
Went to an all-boy high school, so
great.
Didn't really study fashion, barely you know, I knew I loved art, so that there was an art class. So I was so excited that I'm like going to kind of get my creativity
Of course.
part, of course, always knew in my gut I wanted to do something with fashion. I was always
So like you knew coming up as a boy in suburb of Chicago, like fashion was clear to you.
for sure. It was clear to me
because
at
of
such a young. I think my mother had a lot to do with it because, we hear that so and so is your muse. I really believe that she was my muse. I saw how she dressed. I loved her style. I would always watch the whole process that fascinated me of women getting ready.
yeah.
And it's like the change and how they feel, everything
Yep.
changes.
Yeah.
You put on a lipstick, you put on a heel and earring. And I think I was captured by that magic and I wanted to be part of it.
Yep.
And, fashion then was all about clothing. It was, rarely about shoes. It was more, the shoe was almost just to complement the dress.
Totally.
It wasn't something like
art,
art and we start dressing from our shoes up, and then it all changed. But yeah, that was my first.
I remember being with you in one of my houses one summer and you're like, can I watch you put your makeup on? You're like, I love this part. Like, you're like, I love the transformation. I'm like, good, because I'm about to be transformed. Because like, I need to transform right now. And I loved that you loved that because I don't know that many people that like the dress is one thing, but I thought that was super interesting that you loved seeing like the natural beauty into what they become in that moment, because that's the chameleon part of it, right?
Right. And I think everyone wants to pretend at some point, with guys it's different. What are you putting? Gel in your hair? I mean, you can do kind of whatever, but women it's really art, and I just loved the whole transformation. It got me really excited to see.
And so then you went to FIT, right? You went to
well,
school.
First because I knew at such a young age what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to move to New York and go to fashion school because that's what you did.
The dream.
And so my parents were like, okay, let's agree on something. So they both went to like SIU, Southern Illinois University. So they said, why don't you go there like a college, like just not
right, like get your
college,
Bachelor of Arts,
like let's say a normal school, like to see what else you might want to do. So I said, okay, cool. We'll do that for 2 years. 2 years comes around. I'm like, guess what? 2 years, did it, got the bachelor, the whole thing. I want to go to New York. I know that. And even down in that college, there were some kind of fashion courses that I could take. I mean,
but it wasn't a fashion school.
No, it was not a fashion school. So I think, and that was good. And it was a great experience for me to be in. And, I just knew I wanted to start my fashion career. So moved to New York, went to FIT, literally knew no one.
Were you ever like the poor fashion student, or were you always Prince Brian?
Rachel, no.
Is this like the scene in the David Beckham documentary when she's like, we were middle class? He's like, your dad was driving a Rolls Royce or whatever.
Yeah, that was hilarious. No, it was not. I would say I was just enjoying college. I wasn't like crazy.
You weren't starving.
Right. No, right. I had a great New York experience, just everything New York had to offer, whether it was club life, fashion, excitement. It was like, I just took it all in. The city was like, I was a sponge. So it was so exciting to be there. And, I'm in love with it ever since. Yeah. Can't get enough of it.
No place like it, honestly. But then, okay. So how does the king, Gianni Versace, how do you go from fashion student at FIT to Brian Atwood that now works for Gianni Versace and Donatella? Like, how does that happen?
So while I was at FIT, I think towards the end, this is kind of like what you hear happens all the time, but who knows if it does. So an agent saw me out, whether I was at Omar, saw me out. I think I was either at a restaurant or a club, and they're like, oh, you should think about modeling. So
he's the most gorgeous person I've ever seen. He needs to make money doing this. And so do
exactly.
we.
And I'm like, oh, I can do this. I can make money, travel, and like, New York is going to be there. New York is always there and amazing. So I said, okay, so let's do this. And I really used that as a vehicle to travel the world, meet the designers I wanted to work for, because how else can I get so close and like say, oh, by the way, you know, modeling is just something I used to get here, to meet you or whatever. So I remember, you know, I was in Milan. And, you know, my mother was like, okay, how long are we going to like fly around the world? And, you know, it kind of has to have
well, it's hard, I think, as a parent, because you want your child to have this experience. It's also terrifying, I think, as a parent. Like, are they going to get like taken advantage of? Are they going to get lost in a country? Like,
and then, you know, and you're like, as a model, you can really kind of travel and work wherever. If you want to go to Spain, you can get an agent in Spain and you can live and whatever. So, you know, I handwrote out my resume. Because I was like, okay, modeling has, I forget how many years, 5 or something. And
but
I was like,
you were smart enough to know that it has an end date.
Yes, for sure. And I knew that that's not what I wanted to do. So I literally handwrote out my resume and I delivered it to Versace, Prada. I think I delivered it to Tom at Gucci, who was just like the houses that I could see myself in, that always meant something to me. And, you know, I was like, when I was a young kid, I had a paper route. I remember I bought my first Versace shirt, which was a black linen shirt. It was $300 at Neiman Marcus. That could have been like $1,500 back then. But I was this is like gold. And that's kind of why Versace was kind of my first pick, like just to go there. And then I dropped the resume off to the person I was always speaking with, the modeling, the casting person. So Versace called me in. I had to be the day of or the day after I dropped it off. And I'm like, okay, I have an interview with him. And I always compare it to like the draft or something. You're kind of like you're a young artist, and stuff like this rarely happens, and all of a sudden Picasso calls you into a studio and asks you, okay, here's the job. And I remember walking through a Parco Sempione in Milan, like, holy shit. I am now not just living in Milan, I am working for Gianni Versace, and this has started like the dream. And I remember it was the best school ever. And I was hired to work with Donatella on Versus Women's. And then I didn't really get into shoes, even though as an adolescent, I was always sketching shoes and feet, but I had no idea what that meant. But it wasn't until Johnny asked
me. A therapist would have a party with that, but sure, yes.
It wasn't until Johnny asked me to create shoes for the haute couture, his 96, was it 96 haute couture, and I'm like, you just say yes. Yes is always the right answer, and then you just deal with it.
Of course.
And if
you panic after you say yes.
Yes, just say yes, and then it all kind of
Figure it out.
Did you know Dansko's been supporting women pursuing meaningful work since 1990? Yep, Dansko the Clog Company, but it's more than just footwear. Dansko is a symbol of comfort, quality, and purpose. Women wear Dansko shoes as a badge of their values and a nod to the work they do every day. Work that makes a difference in their communities, one bold step at a time. Dansko's Heritage Collection and newest designs are made for life on the move. Dansko's slip-on and go, easy-to-adjust styles save you time, while their commitment to high-quality materials ensures long-lasting comfort and durability. Whether you're on your feet all day, tackling big goals, or simply embracing every day, Dansko is there to support you every step of the way. Because at Dansko, every decision is made with you in mind, from the shoes they design to the impact they make. Step into comfort and purpose today. Visit Dansko, dansko.com/radio to learn more or try a pair. That's dansko.com/radio.
This is what you do when you have high standards and fancy all the fancy things, like an iconic Dior saddlebag or that diamond tennis bracelet. You go to eBay. There you'll find new loves that will never disappoint, expertly authenticated and everything. Whether it's that vintage pearl necklace or brand new ruby earrings, a Prada crossbody bag to be besties with your other handbags, even an eternally classic watch like that Rolex Oyster or that Cartier Tank. You know the one. And when you find it, eBay has their experts' eyes to make sure you're getting the real deal. That way, you can be confident that the designer finds you came for, the luxury wardrobe you've always wanted, it's all real. In fact, it's verified authentic. So bring your high standards and never limit what you can find. Yeah, eBay, the place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay, things people love.
Have you ever brought your magic to Walt Disney World like, hey, we came to play? Did you tip your tiara to a Creole princess or get goofy officially? Step up like a boss and save the day? Or see what life's like under the tree of life? Did you? If you could. Would you? When we come through, it's true magic. 'Cause we came to play. Bring the magic at Walt Disney World Resort.
Hey, this is Joel and Matt from How to Money. And you know, Joel, I am looking forward to summer this year because I'm taking a road trip up to the Northeast.
Ooh, that's exciting. Where are you headed?
Yeah, we're taking the kids on this ultimate American history adventure. We're talking DC for the Smithsonian, then Boston for the Freedom Trail and Paul Revere's story, as well as heading up to Acadia up in Maine for some serious hiking, maybe a little bit of craft beer as well. And actually, planning this trip got me thinking it's so smart to have your place on Airbnb while you are away. With the co-host feature, you can hire a high-quality local co-host to do the work for you. Find a co-host at airbnb.com/host.
And actually, before I moved to Milan, I went to this I was like, am I doing something crazy? And, in a good way. And I went to this celebrity psychic, and I still have that cassette tape. Who knows, when they recorded things on cassette tapes. Of course. And I remember she was like, you're going to be famous for something to do with feet. And I was like, okay, here's your $200 or whatever, hon. This is not my dream. This is not what's going to happen. And she goes, I don't know. Maybe you're going to do a Nike ad, because I was a model back then. She was like, and I was like, okay. She goes, do your feet hurt? Something about feet. Right. And I was like, feet. Okay. And then after all this, I'm like, where's that tape? I need to listen to that tape again, because it all kind of revolved around feet. Sure. It revolved around feet. And, the Cinderella factor, I call it.
I mean, but actually, I think that's the thing. And I think when I met you, probably around that time. Yeah. I just remember you made the most gorgeous shoes. And I think you launched your own brand shortly after that, right?
In 2001, right after.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right. I launched it March 2001. Then the whole world collapsed, in September 2000. Literally. Yep. And I thought of it. I said, well, it can only get better because we've been through hell. So I said, you just got to stick with it. Everything eventually will come back. So it's never a great time to do something. Just do it. And, it worked out.
I mean, it's interesting because I think, I think a lot of the people that have been on this pod, myself included, we talk a lot about sometimes not being supported on our journeys. Sometimes there's a lot of petty jealousy with women. And I'm wondering, did you ever experience that coming up? Were there people that tried to take you down? Were they jealous of you? Or was it so small at that point that there wasn't really that stuff happening?
You mean in the industry?
Devil Wears Prada kind of stuff. No, I never just a lot of petty girl shit.
No. I mean girl. No, really, because we're also young and new. Yeah. Especially in the office, because the Versace office I was the only one who spoke English. So it was a great way for me to learn Italian. You're just forced with it, because I said, I'm not going to be that American sitting at a table just saying, ha, and not knowing what's going on. I was like, I'm going to learn it. Very basic, Yeah. And, we were all in the same boat and more excited than backstabbing each other. Of course.
So you more had the experience of it was almost like this young incubator of a group that just all loved each other, and you're still friends with a lot of them now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And fashion always has drama, of course. Yeah, we always, and and that being the small family business that it was Gianni, Donatella, and Santo. So it was just that. That was your school and all the, you know, team that was around them. But it's
a really good
smallest.
School.
Yeah, it was great.
The
and
school
crazy
of Versace.
at the same time.
Of course. And then when Gianni died,
mm-hmm.
and Donatella came in, you were still there. You stayed there for a while after,
Yeah,
right?
I was with Donatella when the whole thing happened. We were, and that was the weirdest thing because, you know, it being such a small, like a family company, you felt really part of that. It was kind of like your Italian family. And when that happened, we were in Rome, and I remember sitting on the floor with Donatella. We had all the models' cards because we were doing Donne Sotto le Stelle, which was a fashion show they did on the Spanish Steps in Rome.
Yeah.
And Gianni had already flown because it was after the show, the couture show. He flew to Miami, which he always did. Like, okay, I'm done. I need vacation. So we did the Rome show. And then I remember we were just chatting and picking out models. They were also like cute boys and girls. We're all just, oh, that one. And then all of a sudden, Santo comes in the room and screams her name to like get, you know, come here urgently. And I've never heard that tone. And I was like, okay, something's up.
Right.
And then I think someone minutes after that, they turned on the news, and you know, it was shocking to see. It was like a movie.
It was like, this is like a fever dream that isn't real.
It wasn't real. And then all of a sudden, when I saw like the stretcher and I saw the arm of Gianni, like it came off the stretcher or something, and that's the arm I remember seeing every morning in the office. Like he would always, he called me Brianino, which means little Brian, like a child. Like you're here, and he always said, "You're here to Brianino. You're here to learn, take it all in." And I would always go in the office early because I just love being around the energy. I was like,
of course,
obsessed with just being in that element.
You can't pay for that.
In that moment, it all felt real, and you could hear a pin drop. No one knew how to deal with it or what happened. It was just
not
like
real.
Bizarre. And the office was like a morgue for probably 3 weeks. And I remember when someone turned on music, and then it was just like, you know, this is happening.
We have to dance now. We have to like.
And actually, Donatella's first show, I remember everyone was very emotional. And then before the show started, there was this butterfly flying around. And to this day, even Sante Dorazio, Donatella, we all know that was Gianni coming in to check
to
on
make sure all was good.
No, to check on things. And I still get chills and emotional because I know it for a fact. And it's still like magic. It was great.
And I think that's right around the time that I met you, because it was Donatella's show when I met you.
I think it was.
It was. Yeah, it was. I had worked with Gianni right before he died on, I'm trying to remember which client. It might have been like Cameron Diaz for Shrek. We were doing something, I can't remember. But, you know, I think coming up in that, and I think something I try to really express to the younger generation now with all these like flex days and vacation and like whatever. And they're like, and they always go, how are you successful? And what do you say? You were the first one there and the last one to leave. It didn't matter what you were being paid. You always answered the phone. Like if they needed you, it was like boot camp. It was like fashion boot camp, right? But the best boot camp, and taught you everything you know.
Make yourself indispensable if that's possible. As much be the, you know, just be the best that you can be. You know, who cares? It's an hour later or something, or you have to do something. But they can never say you didn't try or didn't do what was required. You went more. You did more. So,
always more. Always more. And, you know, something I want you to share, I think is important for entrepreneurs that listen is, you know, having your own business, having your own brand. It's a lot. It's a lot. And, you know, there's highs, there's lows, there's the lowest lows, the highest highs, even when it's not your own business. Right. But the thing about you that I always say, and I said it in my Instagram post for your birthday, is like, I have never once seen you discouraged.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen you look or feel defeated. And I've never seen you bring a negativity to anything you do. Literally anything. But like, even if it's like, I mean, anytime, maybe the closest thing is like when you're over like an event and you don't want to be out anymore. You're like, I'm done. Like, basta. I'm going out. Like,
I'm tired.
But typically you bring your energy and like your love and your positivity first and foremost to everything. I feel like you have a gratitude. Like, I'm the opposite in terms of like, I'll look at the forecast. I'll be like, oh my God, I have to cancel. Oh my God, I have to do this. Oh my God, it's raining. Oh my God, nobody's going to come. Oh my God. And you always go at it like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And I want to talk about that because I want to understand where that came from. I like to take that from you when I'm with you. And it doesn't even matter if it's like a bad restaurant, if it's like your food sucks, you're like, it's fine. Like everything is fine all the time, but you mean it genuinely. It's not disingenuous. And so I think even when the sky is in fact falling, you continue to power through with a positivity that I think is very infectious. And I want to understand where that came from because it applied to your business and everything else that you do.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it definitely came from childhood and with my upbringing with my mother. I think that
she's magic.
She is magic. She's the matriarch, as you all can imagine. And we love her so much. I think that, you know, I remember a poster I had on my wall, this beautiful lion, must have been a lion or something, and that I loved. And it said, it's hard to be as humble when you're as good as I am or something. And it was just funny because I don't know what that kind of just said. Just
it resonated with you.
Just kind of be humble, and nothing is that horrible. There's even though there's so many horrible things, at some point there has to be some light. And whether it's dismal, whether it's a speck of light, just, you know, look to that to find your energy, because it's so easy to get in our head and get deep and dark and not be able to come out of it. And, you know, and that's when you have to step away, go to a quiet place. And I'm not going to be like go be quiet with yourself, because it does make a difference. It does when it's too much, when the noise outside is too much, and it can be too much a lot of the time. You know, just go somewhere quiet, whether it's walking on the beach, walking, you know, going into your bedroom and putting on headphones and listening to white noise or you know, something quiet. Calm the mind, because the mind is a strong tool that can, you know, really take you to, you know, it can,
a dark place pretty quick.
It can be quickly if you're feeling punched, you know, feeling beaten up, or things aren't working out and you're like, why? I think it's very important to step away and take a minute, take as long as you need, but it helps tremendously. And then it always changes your outlook on it.
It's sandal season at Dansko. That's right, Dansko. The iconic clog brand now offers sandals. Whether you're looking for stylish wedges, comfy flats, or trendy cork sandals, Dansko has you covered. And don't miss the all-new platform Pro Clog. Visit Dansko, dansko.com/radio to explore Dansko's full range of supportive and fashionable footwear. From Dansko's iconic heritage clogs to the latest designs, Dansko's easy-to-wear slip-ons and adjustable styles are made to support you through even the busiest days. Plus, enjoy free shipping and returns. Visit Dansko, dansko.com/radio today.
This is what you do when you have high standards and fancy all the fancy things, like an iconic Dior saddlebag or that diamond tennis bracelet. You go to eBay. There you'll find new loves that will never disappoint, expertly authenticated and everything. Whether it's that vintage pearl necklace or brand new ruby earrings, a Prada crossbody bag to be besties with your other handbags, even an eternally classic watch like that Rolex Oyster or that Cartier tank. You know the one. And when you find it, eBay has their experts' eyes to make sure you're getting the real deal. That way, you can be confident that the designer finds you came for, the luxury wardrobe you've always wanted, it's all real. In fact, it's verified authentic. So bring your high standards and never limit what you can find. Yeah, eBay, the place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay, things people love.
Have you ever brought your magic to Walt Disney World like, hey, we came to play? Did you tip your tiara to a Creole princess or get goofy officially? Step up like a boss and save the day? Or see what life's like under the tree of life? Did you? If you could. Would you? When we come through, it's true magic. 'Cause we came to play. Bring the magic at Walt Disney World Resort.
Hey, this is Joel and Matt from How to Money. And you know, Joel, I am looking forward to summer this year because I'm taking a road trip up to the Northeast.
Ooh, that's exciting. Where are you headed?
Yeah, we're taking the kids on this ultimate American history adventure. We're talking DC for the Smithsonian, then Boston for the Freedom Trail and Paul Revere's story, as well as heading up to Acadia up in Maine for some serious hiking, maybe a little bit of craft beer as well. And actually, planning this trip got me thinking it's so smart to have your place on Airbnb while you are away. With the co-host feature, you can hire a high-quality local co-host to do the work for you. Find a co-host at airbnb.com/host.
It is innate to you, I feel like, because you've had this since I met you, but I also feel like, I think we've all been through our shit, right? We've all been on our downs and our ups. And I feel like you always come up smiling. Does it become like a conscious effort that you make to do that? Like, if you find yourself going, I can go dark here, but I'm not going to? Because I think that's important for entrepreneurs, honestly.
Right. And I know when you can easily do that and focus on the crap of the situation and turn it into, a lot more of just, it's like, all right, do I want to focus on that and feel like that? It's just, it's kind of a choice sometimes.
Of course.
And, not easy, but I think I've noticed it enough so that I can
stop it,
change it.
Yeah.
I can change it. And I think that if you can notice it, you definitely you know how to change it then.
Because I would like to share that with everyone, and I'd like to take that from you, because every time I'm with you, I'm reminded that you could turn this into a happy moment. You don't have to be so intense about something, know? Right. And I think that's something I'm working on this year, is sort of find the light, right? I know that sounds so corny, but I think it's really important. And I think it's really important in business, and it's really important in life.
And it's completely true. They don't just make this stuff up from, this isn't something that...
cliches exist for a reason, actually.
Right. They do exist, and it is inside you. You can, be your own... You can be your own magic. Create, it's all inside you. You just have to... It gets muted down. It gets clouded a lot. So we kind of ignore it. We forget that the ability is inside of us. Just have to listen to it and know when time is to step away for a second.
So what is next for Mr. Brian Atwood, Prince Brian? What are you most excited about right now in your life and go forward? Besides living in Halston's former house in Fire Island, which is so beautiful.
We love that.
And in New York City, of course.
Just really focusing on, relaunching the brand and all of this, making beautiful shoes. I think there are so many different things that I'd like to do as far as, fashion has changed. As fashion has changed so quickly and exciting as well. But just need to really focus on what I love doing, and that's creating beauty, and that I will continue doing. And
we need your magic. We need your magic for as many people as possible.
Absolutely.
So. I
Put them back on a pedestal.
And we all have to climb in Brian Atwood heels forever. So, By the way, I do, as illustrated on my Fire Island excursion.
I know.
I kept those babies on.
Yes.
I love you so much. We're going to do quick rapid fire before I let you go. You ready?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Who's your hero?
My mother.
Make me weep right now. I already know this answer. Southern Italy or Southern France?
Italy.
I knew you were going to say that. Favorite dessert?
I mean, I love it all. I mean, tiramisu is like right up there.
Okay. I also know this. Platforms or knee-high boots?
Ooh, platforms for sure.
Yep. What's your biggest pet peeve?
But I do it also. Procrastination. So I mean, that is, and like being late, but procrastination.
But you're both of those.
Yes.
I mean, okay. What advice would you give your 20-year-old self?
What would I give my 20-year-old self? I think really just continue to never compromise your integrity, never compromise what you believe in. And I think that's also what Gianni told me to, and that's part of the whole school of being in the Versace, time, the realm is, he always said, you're here to learn, never compromise. I learned it from him because people loved and hated his stuff. So it was,
it's true, but he kept doing exactly that.
And he didn't care. He kept doing it. And I think that for a designer or someone who is in the creative field is something very important, because you can always be persuaded or tend to be like, oh, well, it's not fitting into this box.
Sure, of course.
But if you fit into that box, you're competing with everyone who's already in that box. Do something different that is very you, and have a voice. Have, say what you want. Stick to it. Always.
And it is hard. It's not a given.
It is hard. And it takes a lot of guts, because people might not appreciate it instantly, but I think they always come around to it. Yeah, they do.
Okay, another.
Sorry, I sidetracked.
No, it's perfect. Martini or margarita?
Margarita.
I knew that.
I'm Mexican.
We could be on the Newlyweds, by the way. I just want you to know. What's another career you would want to try?
2, architect or rock star. I don't know which one comes first, but I think.
And couldn't be more different, by the way.
I know.
I'm going to go with rock star.
I always think I'm a good singer, but probably not. Probably architect first. I also wanted to be a plastic surgeon because I love creating beauty. So I thought I'd be really good with the face. So, all right.
Oh my God, that's
I have
terrifying.
3. Sorry.
Okay, I love that. Okay, ask permission or ask forgiveness?
Forgiveness, probably.
Duh. Rules don't apply to Prince Brian. Okay, who is your Hollywood crush?
Oh, my Hollywood crush. Let's see.
Who's your free pass with Jake?
Henry Cavill, probably.
Okay, and what about a woman?
I mean, Angelina Stunning.
Or past icon?
I think probably Marilyn still fascinates me for some.
Yeah, same.
I think.
Same.
Yeah.
Instagram
Marilyn.
or TikTok?
Instagram.
Okay, I love you.
Oh my God, I love you. You're my icon, baby. You're my icon.
You're not
past, baby. You are right there.
You are my icon, and I love you so much. I love that I got to be with you this year.
Me too. It was so fun.
Love having you. I love that you're the first honorary guy to ever be on Climbing in Heels. It's only appropriate. It's only appropriate.
It really is.
I love you.
Thank you so much to my friend Brian for being the first male guest on Climbing in Heels. Tell me if you want more, because I think I have to add more boys to this, because there are so many men in my life that I love and respect and would be so incredibly inspirational for all of our listeners. I really loved Brian's advice about saying yes and figuring it out later. I'm actually going to take his advice. I will see you all next week on the pod. It's sandal season at Dansko. That's right, Dansko. The iconic clog brand now offers sandals. Whether you're looking for stylish wedges, comfy flats, or trendy cork sandals, Dansko has you covered. And don't miss the all-new platform Pro Clog. Visit Dansko, dansko.com/radio to explore Dansko's full range of supportive and fashionable footwear. From Dansko's iconic heritage clogs to the latest designs, Dansko's easy-to-wear slip-ons and adjustable styles are made to support you through even the busiest days. Plus, enjoy free shipping and returns. Visit Dansko, dansko.com/radio today.
Have you ever brought your magic to Walt Disney World like, hey, we came to play? Did you tip your tiara to a Creole princess or get goofy officially? Step up like a boss and save the day? Or see what life's like under the tree of life? Did you? If you could. Would you? When we come through, it's true magic. 'Cause we came to play. Bring the magic at Walt Disney World Resort.
New out-of-nowhere obstacles. New all-or-nothing moments. New less-than-likely triumphs. Season 2 of the Unshakables podcast has it all. Hi, I'm Ben Walter, CEO of Chase for Business and host of the show. We're excited to bring you more inspiring stories from small business owners who share the what are we gonna do moments that ended up changing everything. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Copyright 2025, JP Morgan Chase & Company.
Did you know women are more likely than men to develop dry eyes, which may be due to hormonal changes during the menstrual cycle or after menopause, and the use of oral contraceptives? Give your dry, burning, or irritated eyes a daily refresh with Refresh Optive Mega-3 Lubricant Eye Drops, a preservative-free formula that provides fast-acting, lasting relief. Refresh Optive Mega-3 is safe to use as often as needed. Find Refresh online or in the eye drop aisle at all major retailers.
You're listening to an iHeart podcast.